These 8 useful English words will lift your fluency and your IELTS, TOEFL, or Cambridge score. And you won't just memorize them. You'll meet each one inside the story, feel what it means, then prove you caught it. That's how your brain keeps them for good. For almost a year, the letters had been the best part of Rosa's week. She did not know the name of the person who wrote them. She only knew that somehow, a stranger's letters had given a lonely old woman a reason to wake up in the morning. It had started at the community center. A volunteer had suggested the letter writing program, a pen friend, someone to share a few words with. And Rosa, weary of her silent flat and her silent telephone, had reluctantly agreed. The first letter was short and shy, but the second was warmer, and the third made her laugh out loud at her kitchen table for the first time in years. Her pen friend wrote about small things, a burnt dinner, a song on the radio, with such fond, gentle humor that Rosa began to feel less alone. She kept every letter in an old biscuit tin. On hard days, she reread them. There was a longing in them, just beneath the cheerful words, a quiet wish for closeness that matched her own so exactly it sometimes made her eyes sting. They never wrote of who they were. That was the rule of the program. And yet, month after month, Rosa felt she was coming to know this person better than she knew anyone else alive. Then, in the spring, a different kind of letter arrived. "I think it is time we met," it said. "There is a cafe by the river this Saturday at 3. I'll be wearing a yellow scarf. I do hope you will come. There is something I have been longing to tell you in person." Rosa almost did not go. All week she hesitated, her courage rising and falling like the tide. What if the real Rosa, old, ordinary, nervous, was not the woman those letters deserved? What if meeting only broke the lovely thing they had built? But on Saturday, with shaking hands, she put on her good coat. "You silly woman," she told her reflection, half to scold and half to reassure herself. "Go." The cafe was warm and full of afternoon light, and there, at a table by the window, sat a woman in a yellow scarf, weary-looking and nervous, turning a cup of tea round and round in her hands. When she finally looked up, Rosa's heart stopped. It was Mara, her daughter. They had not spoken in 9 years. After the funeral, after the terrible things both of them had said in their grief, they had become estranged, 2 stubborn women on opposite sides of a silence neither knew how to cross. "I didn't know how to call you," Mara said, her voice breaking. 9 years, and I didn't know how to just call. So I wrote instead, as a stranger. I told myself I only wanted to know you were all right. But the truth is, Mum, every single letter was me longing to come home. She had been the kind, funny, fond voice in the biscuit tin all along. The pen friend who had given Rosa a reason to wake up was the very daughter she had wept over, estranged for 9 long years. For a moment, the old, stubborn pride rose in Rosa, the instinct to be hurt, to hesitate, to protect herself. Then she looked at her daughter's frightened, hopeful face, and she simply let it go. She crossed the little cafe and pulled Mara into an embrace so fierce that the yellow scarf came loose and a teaspoon clattered to the floor. Neither of them cared. They held on as though making up for every missed year at once. "It's all right," Rosa whispered into her hair again and again, reassuring the grown woman in her arms exactly as she had once reassured the small child, and refusing to loosen the embrace. "You're home now. You're home." It would take time to reconcile everything. 9 years cannot be mended in an afternoon. But sitting by the river that day, a pot of tea going cold between them, an old woman and her daughter finally began to reconcile, one honest, fond, long overdue word at a time. "Now, did you catch all 8? Let's find out." An adjective for feeling gentle affection and tenderness towards someone. It's the soft warmth you feel for an old friend or a happy memory. Rosa felt this way about the warm voice in her tin of letters. She had what kind of feelings for the stranger who wrote to her each week? The word is fond. She had fond memories of the long summers at her grandmother's house. An adjective for being very tired and worn out, in body or in spirit. It's the heavy tiredness that comes from too much sadness or effort. Rosa felt this way about her silent flat and her silent phone. She was what of being alone, day after empty day. The word is weary. After the long journey, she felt weary, right down to her bones. A verb meaning to pause because you feel unsure or afraid. It's that nervous moment of holding back just before you act. Rosa did this all week before deciding to go to the cafe. She began to do what? Her courage rising and falling like the tide.
The word is hesitate.
Please don't hesitate to call me if you ever need any help. A noun for a deep, aching wish for something or someone. It's the heart's strong pull toward a person you miss badly. It lived quietly beneath the cheerful words in every letter. Each letter was full of a quiet what? A wish to finally come home.
The word is longing.
She felt a deep longing for the home she had left behind. A verb meaning to hold someone closely and warmly in your arms. It's the warm hug you give when words alone are not enough. Rosa did this to Mara so hard the yellow scarf came loose. She crossed the cafe to do what to the daughter she had lost?
The word is embrace.
She ran to embrace her son the moment he reached the gate. A verb meaning to comfort someone and take away their fear or doubt. It's calming a frightened person with gentle, kind words. Rosa did this to Mara, whispering that everything was all right. She held her daughter close to do what? To tell her she was finally home.
The word is reassure.
He tried to reassure the nervous child before her first exam. An adjective for no longer being close. After a long quarrel or silence, it's the cold distance between family who have stopped speaking. It described Rosa and Mara all through their 9 wordless years. After the funeral, mother and daughter became bitterly, what?
The word is estranged.
The 2 brothers had been estranged for more than a decade. A verb meaning to become friends again after a serious disagreement. It's rebuilding a broken bond. One honest word at a time. By the river, Rosa and Mara slowly began to do this at last. 9 years of silence would take a long time to do what? To mend?
The word is reconcile.
It took years for the whole family to reconcile after the quarrel. Quick recap. How many do you still remember?
Fond. Weary. Hesitate. Longing. Embrace. Reassure. Estranged. Reconcile.
A new English story every day. Subscribe and learn useful words the way your brain actually keeps them. Inside a story you won't forget.